Blue Monkey Studios. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Josh Ginter. You haven't seen my lovely face, but if you saw at the beginning of this video, you did see my lovely bald head. You also may notice that this video is not starting out like that sped up portion, and that's because, well, I didn't want to have that as the episode. And so I went ahead and did a time lapse of that because really that's all this was filling in all the negative space, making this look like the 1989 Art Adams Wolverine poster. So for those of you that made it through that time and got through the logo and you're here now, you get to see this thing colored. For those of you that, spent the last 2.5 minutes or so, however long that beginning of this video was, well, you're out of luck. You didn't get to see this. So we're going to color Tick today. And I'm using watercolor. And my watercolor put in these trays. And they tend to sit after a while. And they collect dust. And I haven't figured out a way to clean the dust off without getting the watercolors wet. So there might be some dust bunnies in here and there. And I believe, if I recall correctly, after it dries, I can wipe them off. I did scan this after inking it, scanned it into my computer, so I have a black and white version of it. I can color digitally if this turns out horrible. I don't think it will. It's going to be pretty basic, but it's always good to be cautious. That being said, this piece will be available. This will be the last video. I'm going to color it. It's going to be done. It'll be available for purchase. If you are interested, hit me up. I'll let you know what the price is over messages. And if you want to print, like I said, I scanned this. I'll probably scan the finished watercolors as well and have that available as a print. The print will obviously be way cheaper than the actual original piece. So if you're interested in that, again, send me a message, let me know, and I'll figure out a price on it. I'm not 100% sure how much the prints are, but this is an 8x10 piece of paper. It might, dimensionally, it might be a little bit smaller. For some reason, when they make sketchbooks, it's just atrocious. I've been working on a project and using 18x24 sheet of paper. Actually started out with 11x14, and it was still off by less than 1/8 of an inch, which is very annoying when you're trying to get dimensions right. And so for colors, I mean, we all know what the Tick's colors are, but I kind of like to put random stuff in here just to make it a little more less flat looking. But just gonna wing it to see where we get. And where'd there he is. Look at that, it's ruined. Some of y'all are probably screaming when you saw me do this the first time. Don't, it's so good. It's okay, it's here, it's all right. It's okay. Shh. All right. You probably also noticed that the paper I'm using is not watercolor paper. I really like sketch paper, and watercolor paper is awesome, don't get me wrong. But I don't have a whole lot of it, even though I use watercolor pretty much all the time these days. So yeah, the reason why it's all rippled up is from inking this whole thing, and it is, like watercolor, it is a liquid ink compared to a dry ink, so it caused it to wrinkle. I've had this thing in my sketchbook under a heavy, heavy box set, book box set, and it did not want to flatten out for reasons. Usually it works, but this one just did not want to flatten out. So once we get the colors done, I will do a better job at flattening this bad boy out. Probably get something even heavier, or multiple books, or hire a sumo wrestler and have him sit on it. You know, that kind of stuff. Also, just to let you know, I've started up my Patreon again. I have quite a bit of stuff up there, including some of these videos before they are released on YouTube. So if you would like to lend your support, you get access to this video a week in advance. So basically, you get it a day or so after I actually make it, just to, so I can I don't want to say edit, because not really edited, I just kind of wing it, but basically have it put together and ready to upload. Yeah, it'll be up on my Patreon a week before its release, which also means that, you know, if I'm working on a piece of artwork that is not a commission, something like this that you guys suggested, or even something I decide to do, it will be I guess for the most part it'll be available for you guys to pick up. If you're on the Patreon, you get this beforehand. You got, you know, basically dibs. You got dibs, bro. Dibs. Before anybody else. And yeah, that's good. Good for everybody. Good for me, good for you. Well, maybe not everybody. There'll be someone who doesn't get, so snag one of these up. Yeah, it's a decent purple. It kind of fits in. And just looking at this, it might not be a bad idea for me to take tiny breaks. So you're probably going to be seeing jumps in the video, just so I can allow this paper to dry a little bit. Like I said, it's not watercolor paper. It's not really meant to hold this much moisture. So yeah, I'm probably going to take a little break after I apply this more purplish blue. So I really don't want to screw this up and have to do it digitally. There's always something cool about having an original piece of art. You can see like little dust bunnies there. All right. Oh, my head hasn't been in the way. Anyway, I think I'm gonna stop, take a break, let this dry a little bit, and then we'll get back to it. I know I keep saying that and I keep touching things up. All right, for real. Be back. Ooh, that's a good purple. I like that purple. Change it out. Should have did this earlier, but no, I wasn't thinking. little rich. All right. That's one of the cool things about watercolor. You've got a little bit of time to make a correction. Teeny tiny bit. Alright, so I added a little bit of purple. So I'm going to put in a little bit of yellow in here. Different spots. To kind of complement a little bit. Put a little bit of yellow, a skin tone as well. And the skin tone for Caucasian character individual is blue, yellow, and red, combinations of that. Obviously, if you got too much yellow, they're starting to look a little bit like they got jaundice. Might use a little bit of orange. I have a little bit of skin tones dried on my palette from before. Yeah, that might work. I'm gonna add a little bit of brown there as well. Maybe. That looks good. A little bit more yellow in here. And then these less blue areas. Okay, I like that. Looks good. Kind of curious what would happen if I put a little bit of red in there. And I'd ask you what you think, but you can't answer me. Just kind of put it in these shaded areas, kind of here or something. Kind of darken it up a little bit more. spoons, which I am not 100% sure how, or not how, but what color to make the spoons. Obviously choice is kind of a silver gray color. I'm not sure that's what I want to do. Bleed over into the teeth. There we go. So, gonna let this dry. This will be dry number two. And I'll think this over. I'm thinking spoon will be either red or yellow. The spoons probably will end up being gray because I'm boring. But I think I might have a gray marker, or not a gray marker, but a silver metallic marker. If I do, I'll probably utilize that a little bit as well. So let this dry. We'll do the spoons next, the logo, and the border, and we'll be done. Be right back. Alright, so I looked around. I didn't see a silver marker or paint pen or anything like that. But I do have this Liquitex Professional Ink. Ooh la la. Iridescent bright silver. And I practiced a little bit on my scrap sheet of paper. I'll show you that here in a second. So that's where I applied this silver. So on the white, it's not going to show up too well. But over this ink wash, it kind of gives it a little, I don't know, maybe if you kind of move light over it, shines a little bit. So, and then I also tried yellow watercolor, and then I put some of that stuff on top. So I think I'm going to try it and see what happens. But first, since it's got a little bit of ink wash on it, I'm probably going to put a little bit, like a light, super light blue to kind of give it a base. And worst case scenario, I should have a, and I didn't think to look for it, but I should have a colored pencil that is silver metallic. Yep, right there. So sharpen that bad boy down to a fine tip and maybe add a little few highlights to it. Now, as far as the border goes, the poster, the Wolverina poster originally was kind of a bronze color. It kind of correlated with the brown and gold outfit. And since I'm thinking yellow for the spoon, it might work. I do have got a few of these. This is copper shade. I might do that for the border. See how it looks. That's probably going to take a while just because I have to be pretty quote unquote precise. You can tell I'm not that precise when I inked the border to begin with. So that might be a sped up section. So while this is drying, which is, it's already dry now, but I'm going to go ahead and yeah, let's try the silver. This stuff's still wet. Looks like it's still wet. Just thinking about it and looking at how much yellow I have, I don't know if it's going to be enough to cover all that or not. It's getting a little hard to see. Stuff is more glittery looking than anything. Yeah, it's okay. Right? Yeah, we'll say it's okay. Back to the yellow. The other thing I'm thinking about as far as the yellow goes for the spoon is I'm going to go with yellow first. I'm also thinking red. I do have a tick shirt that is all red, and if I remember right, spoon is in yellow, or maybe it's yellow and blue, something like that. So we'll try yellow first and see how that turns out. Don't have a whole lot of yellow left, and I know when I was preparing for Big Lick, I grabbed my watercolors out of the drawer, and man, some of them were dried out. So that's a little concerning. This might work. I might even just do the border and give it a base coat of yellow as well. And this is going to get a couple of passes. Not sure if you can see this, but that's all the yellow I have left. that's not in a tube dried up. I'm thinking I'm going to have to purchase some more, or at least a tube of yellow. I'm not sure how dried up all the other ones are. See? Golly. Cheapo brushes. Yeah. Happy little accidents. That was not an accident. That was intentional. So intentional. Probably gonna have to work on that a little bit more. Don't want to mess with that too much because, again, not watercolor paper. Alright. So let that dry. I'm going to go ahead and sign this. And then we'll work on the border. And the border I'm going to speed up so you guys don't fall asleep. Move all these out of the way. I have to hit that with black ink again. So we're going to have a few touch-ups. can see like some yellow around here. Let's hit a few things. I'm going to grab a brush. Not that one. This one. A little too wide. Look at that. That is it'll probably work. All right, so there you go. I got some touch-ups around the logo, probably a little bit around the border. I'm gonna knock that out. Just, it's funny, this is matte ink and it's shiny. I don't know, a little weird. But yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm not gonna record anymore since I'm just doing little touch-ups. If I can post a JPEG in the comments, I'll post an image of this there so you can see what the final looks like. But that's it. This is pretty much done, finished, finite. Touch it up and then flatten this thing out so it doesn't look like a dried up leaf. And again, it will be available for purchase. Shoot me a message if you're interested. I will give the individual who suggested I draw this character, I will give them first dibs. If they, say I'm good, or, well, basically either they get it or someone else will get it. But I will, if they don't want to get it, I will comment on the under the video. Golly, I can't talk or think today. I'll comment under the video whether or not they took it. And if anybody else is interested, just shoot me a message or comment. We'll get in touch off of YouTube and figure something out. So, guys, thanks for watching. In the description, there is a link to my link tree. That'll get you to my Facebook page, the Webtoons comic for Oh Good Grief. I think we're about 39. I think page 40 will come out, I think this week. When this video gets released, it'll be the week at the day after the video gets released. Page 40 will be up on Webtoons. Be sure to like that, subscribe it. You can even rate it. Same thing for the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment, like it. The more likes and comments I get, the more subscriptions I get. The more people get to see it. And once we get to 50, I believe we can do a live stream, and you guys can just jump in while I'm working on a project and we can talk. Not sure how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out. So again, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.